mid, which is going to be a massive problem for them potentially. A slow orb coming out as well from Lucker, but he sneaks inside that dark cover, gets caught off guard by Scream. The bigger problem is this flank coming through from Fearoth. Are they prepared for it? Here's the flank. Free kill on the first target. He's got to switch out to the shock dart. They managed to bring it down to a 3-on-2 as Kriya and Rhyme both find kills on the site. Solkos spots the tripwire, takes it out immediately, isn't prepared for Hip, who's in position in Hell. It's down to one. It's Eccles, who was across the map, lurking over towards C, had to run back towards the A site. The round is lost. The clock has ticked too far down, and it will be NiP who pick up the first round execute victory. That allows them to gain access to the site. They'll get a plant secured here. Rhyme, though, at least through that smoke, gonna spray away with the SMG. Eccles will be sent away for the time being. Couldn't secure the plant as of yet. He's got the cam, and he's just using it for the intel. Fearoth with the shock dart, finding one. Nice kills coming in towards the tail end from Cryptix with just the classic. But 2 kills and a spike plant is all they're going to get. The round will go the way of NiP.
You know, even though my made-up statistic of 80% of the time operator, I don't know if Lucker has one on the opposite side. If so, that's a pretty heavy investment, but we're starting to see the funnel in. It's Hip that only finds one. There's not Shin. Paranoia about to be set up here by Kriya, and little does he know he landed onto 3 members there, but they'll now start to trade back and forth. So far going over to the way of NiP. Eccles just lining up shots, and now the last one standing is Fearoth. He's got the operator that he wants to likely save. They know, and he's retreated back up the stairs. Shots good onto Scream, and now maybe looking to back away. Shock darts. Lucker in a different position now, hiding behind the tall boxes, and now as they swing through with the flashpoint, Screamy, he's gonna find Lucker, and that's the weapon gone. Kriya, though, he's got the Vandal, and he's holding tight here, but it's Link that's already pushed up down long, and they will get that spike planted. Unfortunately for NiP, oh, fortunately for NiP, you've got Rhyme, who's constantly a nuisance, and now it's the 3v5. Fearoth maybe looking to upgrade onto that Vandal there, and that'll make things very difficult here for FISH123.
Link going full spin mode as Hip was coming up behind him, somehow gets the best of him in the one-on-one. The recon dart will give away at least some positions here as they swing out. Link is waiting, and it's down to Fearoth. He's got a Vandal, the wall towards spawn. Not exactly good. A huge gap in that. And he's able to peek and punish as a result. And now it comes down to the Sage, the one that put this wall down in the first place. Multiple kills on the round for Link, but Link knows the clock is on his side. Just trying to buy time, and I believe he bought enough. The spike's going to detonate here. So it will be...
They can at least assume it might be the pistol, but we've seen how some of these very light buys with the pistols from NiP can be quite detrimental on specifically a player like Rhyme. Unfortunately, he's already out of the mix. An aggressive push in through the courtyard, he will fall, as well as Hip in an aggressive position down Banana, he will fall as well. And now it's just FISH123 playing it a little bit safer. They have a feeling NiP might be playing a little bit more aggressive to try to make it a very expensive round, but
here in CSGO, I feel like. And that's why you're seeing this resurgence of this god tier player that he was back then. And you can see it in this round. Obviously, in that corner, they're going to instead go back towards B. There's a recon dart coming down to give away positions on the B site. Nice charge coming out through the wall. That pushes Fearoth back. Eccles with the punish. Kriya trying to get into position, wasn't quite timing it right, and as a result, it's come down to a 4-on-2. The Reyna had to come all the way up from long to try and support, and Eccles is going to find a third. It's down to now just...
gun duel. That's very unfortunate. Obviously a great start to the half. They won the pistol. They won the SMG round. But those are kind of, in some cases,
does not go down in time to save him. Hip is right around the corner. Yet again, we've seen this play, but I love the reposition from Lucker. Now moving into this spot. The recon dart's going to give away the position of Hip. Lucker wants to throw a slow orb down so he can change positions. Nice dark cover coming out as well from the Omen in case they decided to act off that push, but it's not going to be the case. Yikes. The neural theft gets popped. Eccles was almost spotted out by the Cypher, and now Eccles is able to lurk on this C site, and they don't anticipate this play coming through. So the Cypher likely to get caught off guard, and that's exactly what happens. Rhyme caught looking the opposite direction, watching for the garage push as they started to rotate over towards A to try to support the operator of Lucker. So the whole round falls apart off that play because he's able to sneak around that corner. Now, Rez does come in onto Hip, and it will make things a 4-on-4, but the spike's gone down, and look at this. Solkos in position through the box. Down goes that op. So... no damage dealt by Fearoth.
Even worse was that Fearoth shot the recon bolt and it just hit the window. He wasn't even able to get the information onto Solkos. So Scream has used all of his utility, and so for FISH123, they'll have to rely on Wow, they don't have Eccles either, so they don't really have a lot of utility that they can push in. So expect to see a lot of dry peaks, a lot of dry pushes forward, and they're about to face a world of hurt. Korea finds one. That operator shot is good, but it's the Hunter's Fury that is now going to put Korea in a very difficult position. Ryan will be the one to follow. Great read from the Hunter's Fury to try to catch Korea porting around, and now it's the second one that comes through. Time is starting to tick down. They got to push in, and it's all down to Scream. Hip finds 1, 2, and 3 for the round.
Yesterday, his play with the Rays, great. But he hasn't been as good since that game when he played as the Rays. He's gone to the Reyna, and it just doesn't seem like it's clicking. It doesn't seem like it's working. We'll see if he's going to be able to make it work here, as he's got a tall task with all of the players from FISH123 grouping up towards the A site. There's a third player coming over to offer up some support as well. That's Lucker, the Sage. So they'll keep moving forwards, but they're going to be coming up mostly towards long. Here comes the push onto the site.
Yeah. Lucker's got the operator, but there's a lot of utility being used here. If Lucker just shoots, he'll find one, but forget Lucker rotating over early. Just good stuff coming out from NiP, and already an early pick onto Eccles. Omen on Omen action, and Fearoth as well. Just a great start to the round for NiP.
This is what I like to see from them, too, because in the rounds they've gotten aggressive and kind of gotten in their faces. That's the rounds they've been able to find an early advantage. Link, oh, the timing! The shot through the wall is not exactly where it needs to be. The Aldron's going to go in, and Link's going to fall back as a result. Could almost see the barrel around that wall. Couldn't quite spot it. Scream moving in. Sees one up in heaven. Spray gets a little erratic as he's trying to wallbang there, but it'll be Kriya and Fearoth over towards Garage. Again, taking the fight to FISH123 instead of allowing FISH123 to bring the fight to them. We saw it when we saw that aggressive play from Hip in mid as well, getting around into Cubby, killing one and then dismissing away. That's the rounds that NiP has been able to convert off of, and I would like to see them do that more. Kind of leverage their aim to just out-duel the side of FISH123.
All down to Scream. It's Lucker.
I like that. Spamming away with the Odin, pulling them in closer as he goes for the reload, swaps out to the operator. Lucker with a nice shot, but has to fall off the boxes as the paranoia comes through. Kriya around the corner. Port to make him a little bit more successful, and he survives somehow as it comes down to Cryptix, who will eventually end the reign of Kriya, but there's so much in front of him. 3 players still remain. There's the ult being popped as well. Taken out by the final pulse of Hunter's Fury. It will be a 6-6.
That is attacking needs to provide the firepower and the strategy, and already we're seeing that firepower start to come through the courtyard. It's a quick trade of kills going over to the favor of FISH123, but Ryan makes it even. Now it is the 3-on-3 wall going up on B, which means NiP are limited on options. Cryptic's going to be the first line of defense as they start to push in and trying to find those dinks. They're going to connect, but not going to finish anyone off. Spike now going to be going down, and here comes the post-plant scenario for NiP.
Solkus wants to come up long, but there's a tripwire in front of him, has to break it. Goes for the peek towards backside. Oh, catches him off guard. Kriya wasn't prepared. Link wants to come through that dark cover. There's targets on the other side. Sort of baits out his teammate just a bit. It's up to Solkus. He knows there's one right around the corner. Back behind that box, he has to take this peek. He has to take this fight as his other opponent went back towards spawn, and it's Rhyme who finds 3 in the round.
You have to drink a lot. You have to drink a lot. Okay.
Yeah, desalination, it takes a while.
Yeah. The other thing that is quite a lot is how many attacker-sided players are pushing up towards A here. They'll find a quick frag, but it's a trade with the Bucky. Eccles in the position now to flank them from behind, but I think they're slightly aware of this. The Owl Drone makes it a huge mistake. Eccles with the judge, and he's going to be the executioner too. 2 frags for him, down to the 2v2, and it's Lucker alongside Kriya. Scream with the Marshall, and he could definitely make it hurt. Of course, it is the 4th spy for FISH123, and the flash now as Scream hops onto the site, takes a little bit of damage jumping through, but maybe that damage wasn't worth taking. Of course, he still has armor available. They are playing towards the sewers, but still need to push in. The flash is going to give them some time, and here comes the defuse, but there's 2 of them, so they can just tag team this. Still not up to half, though. The judge not going to connect. Scream with the trade. Scream with 2, and the force up goes for FISH123.
So, you know, we talked about it. They lost the pistol in the first half. With 4 spies, it takes a while. Someone has to win 2 in a row to result in their opponent not forcing up.
Well, that actually will go quite well for NiP as Scream will find a quick trade, but it's Rhyme that lands the share of shot. Firath as well with the share of shot. Somehow NiP, they are able to do a lot with the little Korea there with the Marshall. And it's just down to 2, but Cryptix and Solkis will even those odds once again, and it's down to Lucker, and unfortunately for Solkis, he is trying to owl drone through the site. Wall goes up. I like this play from Lucker. All he needs to do now, hightail it over towards A.
Well, as that was what was on Scream's body, you should have picked it up. So now, we've got this one-on-one, and he's on the site. Lucker is just playing in this corner masterfully. Does he peek this? He's coming towards long. Looks like he's going to clear it. No, he doesn't swing wide enough. Oh. Lucker survives with when it comes time for a push onto a site or even in a post plan. It does look like they're going to be moving towards mid currently. They've got 2 players on that B site, but the spike is still sticking back towards long, so they're actually going to go for an A split, which means Scream has to come up big, and unfortunately he only gets 1. That means they're going to have to pull one of these A-site defenders off, and he's stuck in a tough spot. Eccles, who's in the corner currently on long, has to be careful. There's the ult coming out from the Sova. The wall comes in as well. They have to go for the spike plant. There's 10 seconds left on the clock. Solkis can't get around the corner in time to stop it, but they know where Firath is at because of the ult that gets popped. There's the Empress coming through from the Reyna. So now it's a 2-on-4, and you have to worry about that fast fire rate coming out from the Reyna, but it's Lucker who actually comes up with the first one. Now it's all on Hip, the Reyna, who popped that ult. How does he initiate? First kill gonna go his way. Dismiss inside the smoke and gonna continue to hide back in it. There's the res coming out. A bait res, spray through, has to switch to the pistol. Has time to go for the reload, but no, he's gonna dismiss his way away. This is what we're talking about. That ult can be so difficult to deal with. He's at full HP right now, but he's sticking the spike. Solkis in the site will not win the fight. Hip has found 4. Nip Hip, hooray! As non-existent at times in that first half. A few opening kills as the Reyna had 1 or 2 good rounds, but now he's starting to come alive. We've seen him play so well at times. Here comes the push onto the C site, and it will be Kriya who ports past the tripwire and the cyber cage, catching Cryptix off guard. He goes inside the smoke, goes for another port. Surprise! He's behind you, getting past enemy lines, and as a result, Firath's Solkis not wanting to go for this one. He's all the way back over by that A site. It's going to be a 12th round for NiP as they easily creep onto that C site, and the defense does absolutely nothing.
You know, Tom talked about this a little bit, that just because FISH123 were able to win the first Haven map when they last met is
right
not
now for FISH123, because this was supposed to be a 3-map series. We were going to go all 3 maps. That was how we kind of anticipated this series going. Now I'm like, okay, maybe it's a 2-map series, or maybe it's going to be like the Party Parrots game yesterday. Both teams take maps they're not supposed to win, and they still go to that 3rd map regardless. Hip, continuing where he left off, finding 2 more as he fights for his point on the scoreboard. Link with some great shooting to pick off Kriya over top of the big box, but it's a 4-on-2, even with that kill coming through, so they've lost the site control. Cryptix is there at least to get 1. Hold on a second. FISH123 aren't quite out of this round just yet, but the clock is going to be a problem. They've taken a decent bit of time to get onto that site. They've still got the slow orb. Lear coming out from the window. They have a hard time taking it out from distance. A follow-up Lear. There's the peak coming through. 1 HP for the diffuser, but it's enough as Link hits the 4K, and they will get the spike diffusal. It will be an 8th round for FISH123.
You're sending out feelers. I think NiP want to play it a little safe. They want to be the ones to come out on top here. And so feeling out their opposition before they decide to push in is the name of the game for them to kick us off in this round.
A firing range currently on the C site as bullets just pepper down towards long. Link and Cryptix both come up with some. It'll fall down to the Reyna, who's now picking up the operator. Hip's had a great second half thus far. Can he make it work with an operator as well? Would like to see. You've got Rhyme moving up right to his right. That's the Cypher. As the tremor comes through, that'll push him back into the cubby, and a couple of missed shots from Hip, making it hard for them to fight their way out of this one. They've also got a flank coming through. They're going to have to watch out for Eccles, who's on the back end of the play as the Omen. Rhyme now moving closer and closer towards C long, towards the site, has to take out the tripwire, swings towards Link, and Scream will come up with the last kill on the round of FISH123. should one of their players go down in the early exchanges. Owl Drone going in first, looking for that intel. Will be able to spot the Sage on the backside of Garage. He'll be moving out of position, but it's actually the B site being lost. Now, here's a problem. Kriya wanted to use that port to get in the backside of site. He can't because he's got the spike. So he can't go further up like he would love to do. You know he wants to. The orb going down the dark cover, providing an interesting one-way. But the spike will be secured. There's one on the back end of sight. It's a Cypher. And it will be a 5-on-4 as they lose the Sova. The ult being popped by Hip. We've seen how strong it can be in the past. The Empress. Will it make a difference? It's actually going to be Scream who takes out Rhyme, as Rhyme tried to get outside the radius of that detonation, but couldn't quite do it. Kriya gonna go for a port, and yet again, Kriya gets behind enemy lines. Kriya's found 4, bringing it down to just 1. It's all up to Scream in the 1-on-2. He has to contend against Hip, who's got the Empress ult. Sticks the spike. Not gonna be their round. NiP take map number 1, 13-9. I know, it's a little bit interesting. I want to make sure that these are all lined up appropriately. It does look like they're going to be moving in, but the nade keeps them at bay for the time being. It looks like that's actually Scream. Yes, Scream's playing the Sage, so it's a throwback. Scream going back to the Sage, somewhere that he felt very comfortable in the early stages of the game. We do have a bit of a little bug here going on. Not sure what that is. That's a first. But it will be FISH123 taking the pistol round after NiP gains site control. FISH123 get back in with ease, and all 5 players will survive. It will be a
give it to the hands of somebody else. We'll see if Link knows the lineups and the preparation for Sova, but looking at the round ahead, it is NiP that decides to push in towards B, and they don't spend any time waiting at all. But fortunately for the defense, they'll find 2. Lucker will be able to trade it away, but it won't last very long as Eccles will just tap away with the Ghost, and they've changed their sights over towards A. Solka's trying to get Scream trying to get some range with the Bulldog. He'll get quickly traded away. And now, of course, Solka's on the Wraith. And they'll start to funnel in. We've seen them not check their corners before. This time they will. Hip will be the one that falls down to the 2v3. Link now pushing forward, but unfortunately he's only got a Spectre to work with. And I think that was... No, that's the operator for Eccles. He was carrying into the Ghost. Ryan finds 1. Unfortunately, the corner not going to bode well for him. And figure out the last to fall. 3 straight here for FISH123. Variety of agents to make it very interesting. And you might see a future like that, but the game's so early, very difficult to learn everything and be the best at everything. So an interesting strategy here from Eccles as he gets his way, or sorry, from Kriya. We've seen him do that before. He hops on up, but it hasn't really worked out so far. As the time is starting to tick down, and the defense have just dismantled the opposition, trying to push forward. Firoth now having to escape. But of course it is... Wait a minute. Oh, so close. I don't think he's got time, though.
No, he doesn't. Yeah. I mean, he was
bad.
like maybe point second half. Not off to a great start. 0-4. Neither one really doing much early on, but that'll turn around. You saw Kriya try to get behind enemy lines, ported into his dark cover on top of double stack, started spraying away at the target on site, thought for sure he was going to pick up the kill. They couldn't quite find out his position, goes for the port back into the back of site, and also didn't really result in much. Hip just sprays through the wall onto EC1S Eccles, so Eccles right around that corner, trying to hold the line with the operator, and Eccles gets taken out before he even sees anything. Great awareness coming in from Hip.
This is, of course, the gun round for NiP, so an important one for them to win. Shots from Scream will land onto Kriya, but the operator will sing. Unfortunately, will not find its mark. It's Hip, the Vandal, that'll get the job done. Resurrection onto Kriya puts them back into the mix on the opposite side of the Solkas that is trying to hightail it, or at least look for an opportunity to push on over, as the defense are starting to fall apart one at a time, just down to Link.
Any damage, he'll actually get hit by a dart as well, so Solkas is going to be moving back in towards U-Haul. Link's going to get flashed out as well. There's the ult being popped, the Hunter's Fury. Link's right around the corner. First one's going to be his, taken out immediately on the trade by Rhyme. I believe a pulse of that Hunter's Fury actually did some team damage as well, as they were in the line of sight. Spike trying to plant on the site, but the nades are coming in, delaying things, likely to take the port, and they do. So now it's up to the Cypher, Cryptix, who's already over on this B site. He's got the Cyber Cage going down. Tripwire gives away the position. First one's going to be his, can't line up the second. And the Rays with low HP, Hip able to survive a little while longer. Boombot going out to try and spot out those players on site. It's going to be coming around the corner, taken out by the player inside the tuna can. So they know where these last two players are, and it's an easy 1-2 punch from Solkus. It will be a 5th round for FISH123. NiP, they may have opened that window a little bit, but it gets slammed shut as FISH123 respond with another round of their own.
A lot more rounds than we bargained for. Even better than what we saw in Haven. I don't expect to see a 6-6 half because they just lost the gun round for NiP, which means that their economy is probably shot, or at least not in the greatest spot. Or dare I say, they've got weapons, so they'll find 2, open up the site, and now it's just down to 3 for FISH123.
Yeah, you said their economy might be shot, or another word that starts with sh and ends with t. As it's going to be NiP who somehow managed to get the spike down on the site. Solkus with the blast pack landing right in Lucker's lap. Firoth has gotten around to the backside of Elbow, and just like that, all of the pieces fall. And FISH123 will pick up their 6th. So even though it was a promising post plant for a moment with a 3-on-3 and weapons picked up,
as they start to push forward, the rest of the defense will start to funnel through. They've got 3 committed here. Op shots from Eccles not going to connect. It's a huge boost. Cryptix doesn't even know where he is. They're still trying to get those shots in, and now around the corner he'll go through the cyber cage, finding the shots he needs. That's 2 on the site already. They'll upgrade potentially to some new weaponry, but Hip, he needs to be careful. They'll start to come in. 1 shot's good. Looking for the second. Can't connect onto it. Eccles now pushing forward from the elbow. It's down to 2 here. Around the corner, shot won't connect, and now that'll be...
On the opposite end, though, they do have the Showstopper. They've got the Neural Theft, and they've got the Hunter's Fury.
I mean, this was the point in the last map, 6-2, where NiP really started to turn it on, and after that round, you could feel the confidence starting to boom already. 2 kills traded away. Scream, though, still a part of the conversation, and we'll see how he decides to defend this A side. A boost up near the showers, as they will now start to look for a plant on to the A site, but actually they'll call the back away. They pull back here, and the call through connector. Ultimate from Kriya will get him into the back of site, and he'll actually cancel it, just in case does not want to be too far behind enemy lines. Cryptic's going to be the first contact point here. He'll pop his cyber cage as well. And Scream's still confused what's going on, as Cryptix and Scream will tag team on.
Utility gets sent out. Now he's finally going to change his position, but at this point, Kriya's actually already made it onto the site. This could be a problem.
Kriya, though, needs to be careful. Oh my god, he gets in there! Kriya fights too! He'll be traded away, and that's the showstopper sent over to Cryptix. What a round!
That exact thing. And like, you just wonder, like you said, how does this consistently work? How is he constantly able to do that? This time, he's not porting behind anybody.
Not exactly looking for a lot. On the opposite side, though, they've got Hunter Fury and Showstopper in the Neural Theft. Firoth will use it here. Tags 1 in heaven, and it's Scream that pays the price. You know, I thought that Hunter's Fury might not get a lot done, but it does, and that'll open up the A site, but they've got that spike towards B, and they're going to start to push in. Lucker will find Cryptix. Eccles now taking a page out of Kriya's book, but it's just really to push a little forward, using that operator at close range. Shot's good onto Lucker, but they'll push him in above the tuna can. And now just down to Solkus, but he needs to turn around. Rhymes right behind him. Great round from available. We'll see what ends up happening. A great push already from Link as he's making his way from behind, as they will now start to funnel in towards this A site. I think they're a little indecisive, still biding their time, but they just want to be safe rather than sorry. Eccles going to use that ultimate finally to get out of position, or at least gather information. So far, it is still going to be the push forward. Scream is going to fall, Lucker as well, but Eccles in close right, making it painful for them to push forward. Now it's Kriya that falls too. Eccles just the last line of defense here, not letting them forward, while the rest of the team starts to rotate over. Lucker will eventually find him. Cryptix going to rotate through. That's the bait res, but the Bucky will get the job done and take out Kriya. Still going to be time not enough for NiP to get that spike down. And it's the round on the board here for FISH123.
Trying to come back towards the team, and there's the heal coming out. Kriya pushing down long now after his team initially pushed into mid. Wants to do what his teammate did. Can't follow up on that initial damage, and yikes, it's not working out well here for NiP at all. That aggressive...
A little bit damage, and I think they may have, but now the swing around the corner. Shot's going to be good through the tuna can. Eccles will fall still. A lot of members remaining for the push forward. It's the 4v3, and Firoth isn't quite healthy. Recon both going to try to spot them out. The defuse will actually start to come through, and he cannot stick it, as they will just shoot through the tuna can. Down to the 1v2. Firoth can definitely get the job done here, but it's going to be difficult as he's looking.
very reminiscent to, say, like Vertigo for Counter-Strike. You never necessarily know what you're going to get. You have anticipations, but they don't always line up with reality. Scream, great peek coming out from the god tier aimer with the Bulldog. It's an early kill coming in for FISH123. NiP might lose another as the Sage tries to escape towards spawn. The peek doesn't come out from Eccles, though. And the Omen is actually on the back of site. They're starting to pull all of their resources away, and this is going to be a B hit. So the smoke comes through, the dark cover going into site. Solkis a little bit slow to jump through that dark cover in front of him. So that's allowed Lucker and Kriya to get back into the site. Kriya's inside the tuna can. Lucka's there on back site. There's the nade coming out. Gonna do significant damage. Can't even heal past it. The kills piling up right now for FISH123.
No, they've got guns online. So far, picks haven't come through. It's the showstopper that is popped here by FISH123, and it's gonna land onto Fearoth. He still survives with 32, and even if he falls here, he manages to get the frag onto Scream, a crucial member out of the conversation now. And still, that spike going to end up going down. Wall, of course, still up. They will gather in lamps. Now, here comes the retake from the defense. They'll start to push forward. Two members, of course, out for both teams, but we saw these boosts before. Now will we see them again from the side of NiP. These worked, but FISH123 seem to have an answer. So far, a trade of kills. It's Lucker and Cryptix that'll find themselves a couple of kills, and now they will start to try to get this defuse going. Kriya and Hip, they'll find two. Cryptix still the last member standing here, and he'll be dealt with by Rhyme. A great round for NiP.
Two over towards Elbow. They start working their way in. And you've got Lucker around the corner as the Sage. They're going to go ahead and go for a wall boost over top of the Cyber Cage, and they'll actually be able to pick one off. That Scream going down, that's a huge loss. There's the ult coming out towards that direction, but it doesn't do much. As it's Solkis who pushes in towards spawn, picks off Hip. The spike will be planted. Port coming out from Kriya. We've seen him do this before. And it looked like he was going to potentially go for a second port, but decided to change his mind. As the spike continues to tick away, there's the ult coming out from the Omen, and uh-oh. Fearoth gets caught going for the Owl drone, so he doesn't even have a chance to stop that. The backstab works out oh so nicely. It's all up to Kriya. Dink shot comes out from the Bulldog. But FISH123. Kriya, though, didn't feel content to push. It looked like he wanted to port up on top of the truck. Decides not to. Nade coming down right in front of Kriya, so that'll push him back for the time being. Again, you've still got the raise here, but it's been a slow flank coming out from the Cypher through the showers. The timing will be everything for him. Hip gets the first one on the pick. Rhyme gonna find one more, but there's Cryptix, that late backstab that we talked about, taking a while to come through from the showers. Fearoth with just a stinger. Now he has the Owl drone still. He has the shock darts as well. There's the res coming through onto Eccles. There's the peak coming out, and the stinger's not really gonna work that well against that many targets at that distance. Sight's been lost. The ult's gonna get popped as well. The neural theft gonna give away the positions of the remaining three. They know that Sage is here alone, trying to come through from the vents. So that position is going to be held by Solkis as Lucker tries to get in. Nice blast pack boost up into heaven. Lucker goes for the peek out. Hello? Solkis going to be fine-tuning the rifle after that duel. The pistol work for Rhyme is equally as confusing. The SMG comes out. Dink shot followed up by a second dink to make sure that the kill is finalized. But 13-5. FISH123 obliterate NiP on map number 2.
You see one in the hands of Lucker. Kriya. Might make this push towards the A site not work out in the favor of FISH123. Still going to commit to it though, as they'll now walk through the door, and Fearoth on the opposite side going to see how far they end up getting. Looks like spike will end up getting planted, and it's the jump down from Lucker. Not really sure what he was looking to do there. Does not. Oh, he does end up there with the frag. Scream able to answer back, but at this point it may be too little too late. It's just down to they'll now start to set up down long, and the slow orb will likely stop them. Lucker now having to crouch behind the box. They will funnel in one at a time. Spray's good from Kriya, but he's down to 20 already. Lucker has fallen to the wayside. They will swing together. It is the 3v4, can get the job done, but the stinger from range can't really do a whole lot. They need to get on the site, and this one way is making it very difficult. Recon Bolt is going to spot him out, and Hip just uses the Leer. Unfortunately, falls there in the process as Solkis gets the job done, and now Fearoth switching quickly. Nobody really falls for those, or they at least flush them out with utility to make sure that they can push safely. So We are seeing now the push in from the catwalk. So far, it has not been a fruitful kill for the side of NiP, but the Lear will make it fruitful for them as they will take out Cryptics, but it's the rest of the team that have a firing squad of their own, and they'll take out most of the NiP roster. Just down to Fearoth now. He's got 5 HP, and so a sneeze will take him out now at this point, but fortunately for FISH123, I don't think any of the members are sick enough to have a sneeze ready. Instead, they'll just take him out with a good old class. Quite a lot, and we've seen this before from a team, and when you hit A consistently and the opposition can't deal with it, you really have to ask yourself, what is going on? What is happening that we can't hold this site? Already 2 frags down. They win on the push. The flash is great from Scream, and now Kriya. Will we see some of those plays where he finds himself in a position to be behind enemy lines? So far, not going to be the case, but he still ends up with a frag, which is good for him. And now those odds will start to dwindle down to an even match. It's the 3v3 retake, but the wall will stop them dead in their tracks. The prediction spray down below will not find anybody as no one's there, at least not anymore. Cryptics in a great position, but the Lear's about to come through. Headshot's good as he'll stop their push dead in their tracks, and they'll just follow him in.
So 101 to the body if they decide to peek. Gonna need to find the headshots. Here goes the first peek, and yikes. There's the shot to the chest through the wall, but Eccles is there with the immediate punish.
Listen, I just don't feel like you missed those. I feel like you at least get one there if you're Lucker. Hip, he's feeling himself. Great shot with the Sheriff, cannot convert into any more. And that operator, of course, no longer in play. Was that the operator for Lucker? That was, right?
Towards B, there's a cyber cage down, but the flash potentially going to come through. It's actually the ult, the Rolling Thunder. Hip pops his ult instead. It's Empress. From long range, that increased fire rate might be a problem. Goes for the dismiss after initially losing that fight and having to escape. Lucker arriving with the operator, and now it's down to just 2. They've managed to get towards the site, but not on it. And the last remaining member is across the map. Far away from the play is Eccles. So the push towards B does not work out well, does not produce success for FISH123. And like we said, that first the flash right on through, and they're going to be trying to take this B site where you've got Rhyme pushed up in B main inside the cyber cages. Look at the time left on the clock, though. They're taking forever to get on this site. All he has to do is stop the spike plant, pulls them off of it for the moment, but couldn't actually take out the planter. So the site now will be lost, and the spike will be planted. Scream doing Scream things, locking down this close corner, flashed out, but moves into the market. Great move from Scream, but eventually taken out by Kriya. Hip also chimes in with one of his own, and it's all up to Solkas as the Sova. Recon Dart gets taken down. Spam coming through the wall, not necessarily connecting where it needs to. Solkas still has the Owl drone, but in a 1v2, can't really go for it. Goes for the peak, spotted out on the backside of sight. Nice swing there onto Hip, and now it's down to the 1v1. He's 27 HP, but he's back in the U-Haul, and there's one trying to work towards him. Can't quite win the duel with Kriya. 15 HP, but he survives. And he will have time for this. Got dinked and flushed back into that site. And Hip not able to really help much as he was hit by the ult. Scream gonna pick off Lucker. That's the operator taken out of play. The Lear through doesn't really work well at all, and Rhymes dropped on the site as well. So site control again for FISH123, and the spike planted yet again as they gain access to that B site. Hip is already up pretty far, has to watch out for pulses of Recon Darts, giving away his position. That wall also spammable. Link waiting around the corner, greets him with open arms. Again, that Dart gonna give away the position of Fearoth. You can hear the bullets actually starting to pour through the wall. Escapes back in towards spawn. Owl drone to give him some intel. Knows there's 2 pushing up on the stairs, but doesn't anticipate this third peek coming out from Link. It all falls onto Kriya, who's on just 9 points of health. The Omen is here, and they're gonna start rotating out. There's the Recon Dart to give away Lucker's position, who's playing solo defense, currently dinked through the wall. Kriya gets 1 onto Eccles, but Scream is there with the immediate response. And again, this B site is a problem right now for NiP. They just cannot play defense up over the top. Rhyme sees the wall come through and knows where the gun is, so he understands where to put that crosshair as the wall sends that Sage up into the sky. But the kills are piling up currently for FISH123, and the last remaining player has been spotted in B main. Actually, that was the attacker, excuse me. Rhyme actually inside towards the switch house. Spotted out now, and yeah, that's basically the round going their way.
Or is the player good on the agent? And I think Scream is just both. You know, obviously he's coming from CS, and he's obviously got the great mechanical skill from CS that allows him to enemies. But there are times where he shows little flashes of team play, and he sets us up. He sets his team up for success. Lucker going to avoid that fall line, but the flash comes through. It's a little bit too painful. He'll get taken out by Eccles, and it's a free site to take. Easy peasy. Now the rest of the team will start to come through. They'll be taken out one at a time. And instead of getting that spike down, well, they will get it down. It's the rest of the team that are now hunting down Kriya. He's the last member standing. Scream will not anticipate that, but the rest of the team now know that something's cooking.
Here.
And it'll be...
And we'll see if they're able to at least do something towards the tail end, but this push looks promising thus far. They'll go ahead and use that Omen port to get onto the site along with the Rolling Thunder, and the defense is decimated. So it's up to retake time for NiP, and you've got that ult being popped here by the Reyna. Kriya and Lucker both come in with a kill very quickly. Lucker getting one over top of the boxes on the site. So it comes down to now a 3-on-2, but again, that Reyna ult is popped, and it's so deadly and dangerous, and we've seen that at times. The Lear to lead him in. Hip dives into sight. There's the dismiss to survive a little while longer, but can't come out of it with the rifle in.
Overall, they're working well. Here comes the push from NiP. They're looking for an opportunity to take over this B site, really give FISH123 a taste of their own medicine. So far, they'll find one. Still, there's two in the back of sight. One will be taken out, but they don't anticipate a second. It's Solkis. He's going to find two, make it very difficult for NiP, but they will still take him out. And now, the last member standing, it is Cryptix. We've seen what he can do before, but against three, it can be very difficult. The jump peek spots him out that he's still there in the open doors, and now the rest of the team will start to come
Eccles over on short. You've got Cryptix with the Stinger back behind the boxes on site. There's the recon dart going in, and that's going to give away his position. Eccles wants to come around this corner. There's the shotgun. Oh no, at that distance, it's not going to do you much good. The pellets spread out oh so far. And as a result, it's NiP gaining access to the site. Two players remain here on the defense for FISH123, but they're pretty far disconnected from the play. They're back in
serious repercussions in the round to follow. Let's see if they're able to even make anything work with some of these guns, but Scream has to back away as he's being pushed up through Pizza.
A heavy mid presence right now from NiP with three players grouping up. Cryptix is around the corner. The shotgun gonna work out well. He'll convert on the kill. And he realizes there's no one there, so he wants to go for the swing to maybe pick up that gun. But it's going to be a B play right now. And you've got the Omen on site. You've got the Breach here as well supporting Scream. Can't connect on the no-scope. Solkis has to go into the back of sight yet again. So Solkis is here with a Bucky. Last time he did this was in the pistol round with a shotgun. Trying to defend doesn't work out as well for him. Only one kill on that push. They haven't secured...
To be that they are quite the opposite of FISH123. FISH123 like that A site. They like pushing towards that A site. But NiP, they relatively want nothing to do with it. Kriya will find Eccles. It's Cryptix that's there with the refrag. Or at least...
much like a neckbeard. Right now, NiP looking to gain control on this A site. Eccles is back behind the boxes, only able to get the first shot before being taken out by Hip, who will drop in the M to Rhyme, but there's Cryptix here with two more of his own from inside hell. The shock dart's right on the money, but Cryptix is oh so punishing. Hubby waiting for the push to come through, sees the dark cover come out, just waiting for the peek, watching both market and watching B main. There's the initial peek coming in from Fearoth, trying to look for the camera. Is the Cypher. Cryptix in this position now, has to swing, has no choice, can't convert on a second. The ult being popped from Solkis in the back of sight, delaying on the pulse, decides to put the bow away. Eccles picking off Lucker, but it's the Empress that's been popped from Hip. You gotta watch out. It can be oh so scary, that fast fire rate. There's the first one picked up here by Hip. Full HP as he goes for the dismiss. There's a target to its left, but the problem is the site has not been gained up in control yet. There's the quick shot coming out from Eccles. Now he has to spot out the last player with 3 seconds left.
There. As Kriya will push forward, teleporting from one spot to the next, but he will be dealt with quickly by Cryptix. And now the push comes in, Cryptix with 2. That may delay enough time for the rest of the team to now come in. Scream, he gets taken out from a distance. It's the Sheriff from Rhyme that seals his fate. And now with that spike down and the neural theft out, this may look like FISH123's round to lose. And as a result, they will back away with the weaponry that they have. No need to overextend. Eccles alongside Solkis will back away and just look for some exits.
Again, would love to take a look at the scoreboard, but there is currently a bug. So I know I've seen some people asking, hey, scoreboard. There you go. That's the bug. We can't do anything about it. It only shows us the top 2 performers for each team. So Kriya's at 15 and 13, 17 and 10 from Solkis. We talked about it at times. Not necessarily the top performer. It's not that he's bad.
NiP, where are they going? Where are they going to end up? And so far, Cryptix He's got a very safe camera placement, which doesn't actually tell him if they start to push forward. That's going to be the Hunter's Fury. Information has now been given, and unfortunately for Cryptix, he's caught between a rock and a hard place. He'll be taken out, but Scream will be there for the refrag. Unfortunately, will fall directly after. And the rest of FISH123 now have finally arrived at the crime scene, but there are bodies on the floor, and they need to retake the site.
That is the risk of playing that position, playing in hell. When the ult gets popped, there's not much that can be done. Eccles looking for a lineup through the floor, not connecting, having to back off, and instead it's a response of fire from Lucker after the recon bolt will give away his position. So now it's Solkas who picks up the op, and he realizes, let's get out of here. Pull the ripcord, it's time to bail. Great take again from NiP. They continue to fight for control of this third and final map. Both teams slugging it out currently, but it's NiP who's getting in a couple of successful jabs in a row. Link lays down the wall. The spam comes through from the Reyna, even though he Eccles back far with the operator, spots him around the corner. Nice quick shot coming out on Rhyme, but the rest get around the corner. Solkas on the Bucky. Might be able to do significant damage if played right. You've got one coming up lane. The first shot, though, it's not on the money. Link from backside also not able to convert. And now this is a little bit sketchy for FISH123 because all three players are in the same spot. Fearoth is actually over in Cubby next to the doors. So that dark cover towards B main, not really going to make a big difference. Lucker is here waiting for the peek to come through, but there's the port to get across, coming in from the Omen, immediately punished by Fearoth, that player that was in Cubby. Lucker wants to go for a peek. Don't necessarily think that was the right play, but an immediate trade coming in from the likes of Fearoth brings it down to one. It's Scream trying to get into the site. He's got crisp aim. Is it crisp enough? First shot, a little bit sketchy. Goes to the knife to jump around the corner.
Eccles, they are ready with the Bucky. Cryptix, of course, going to be holding on from Catwalk. Still, NiP are waiting for the opportunity to push in. Lots of cyber cages on the site, but here comes the gunfight as Fearoth will open up onto Eccles. Hip will follow up onto Solkas, but the weaponry is not really there. Cryptix has a shotgun, able to get some damage onto one. It's Korea that ends up falling as the rest of the team of the defense will fall back off of the rafters. And with that door closed, it means that they now need to reposition for this retake. Spike, of course, officially going down. It's just up to Cryptix, Link, and Scream. They've all got ultimates available. Resurrection can, of course, come through, and Rhyme is already out of the conversation. This will be a rough round for NiP to lose, but they are still going to have to fight through 3 more on the side of FISH123. Cryptix gonna use that Rolling Thunder to help push onto the site. Hip ready with the Leer, making it very difficult to push in. One frag comes through for Lucker. They're still trying to find what they can, and it's just down to one. Hiding behind the generator. Shock Bolt makes it difficult. And
it's an interesting fight right now with a lot of bodies built up in B main. Lucker with a quick shot takes Scream out of the play. Again, there is a res available, but now there's 2 down here for FISH123. NiP have a 2-man advantage after the res comes through and the off shots rain true coming in from Lucker. You've got Solkas on the site. He needs some support. Link is here, ready to watch the cross onto site, but can't really peek towards B main.
Still trying to get a look in. Link will win the operator duel, and now that weapon is unfortunately out of play unless NiP are able to pick it up. The rest of the team now having to leave the premises, and still it is the 3v4. And I have a feeling that FISH123 do not want to give up any of this control at all. Fearoth now pushing forward. The spray is not going to be good for Cryptix as he'll be taken out, and now they will just funnel in on towards the A site. This could tie things up 11-11. Link will find Rhyme, and still it's the fight that continues for the defense, but it's just up to the 2 of them. That'll be Fearoth with the Hunter's Fury. Link maybe looking for a resurrection of one of his players, or looking to try to keep it for when the rounds really start to matter. But right now they're really mattering. Bach, shots good from Link. Now it's just down to the 2v2. Very doable here from the side of the defense, but they need to hurry up. That spike's really starting to dwindle down second after second. The resurrection onto Cryptix. They want to win this round to put it up to match point, but that spike is ticking fast. They need to act. The 2 members, they are playing quite far back. Korea gathering information, gathers as much as he can, trying to stick it to half. Link does successfully, but here comes the shot. Hip with 2. It's Solkas just down to the 1v1, and Korea FISH123 want to keep their dreams alive. Lucker lost the op duel last time, but don't think he's got to deal with it now. Korea going to find an early pick. Eccles as the smoke dissipates, will be taken out by Fearoth, and already looking like a rough round here for FISH123 Cryptics. We've seen him get a 4K with just the weaponry that he's got. Link will already take out Hype. They will find the frags that they need to even things back around, but the time is really starting to dwindle down.
How does this get to this point?
I don't know. NiP, they've just been playing some good Valorant. These dry peaks, they're going their way. They're feeling confident. They're feeling themselves. Even when Eccles tries to push forward, he finds himself in a position where he can't get the frags he needs. It's a quick trade, though, so things will definitely start to open up, at least for FISH123, as the rest of NiP are starting to fall apart. It's down to Kriya and Hip. Here comes the shot from Cryptics, just down to Hip as the last and final member. Still can get the job done. It's the 1v3, but there's time ticking, and the spike needs to go in his hands and on the ground. But as one of the last members standing, not a whole lot that he can do. Quite close towards the A side. It's just a lot of the faking that we've seen before from the side of FISH123. The executes are going to start to come through, but it's the wall that stops. Solkus dead in his tracks. Shots are good from Fearoth and Lucker as well. They'll defend this as well as they can. Shots not going to connect.
NiP checking the backside, making sure there's no one coming in from that area. A very close, very careful and methodical approach, coming in from NiP. Fearoth will be the first one to fall. Rhyme with a quick kill coming out, making his way through the door. Hip has spotted one, and now it's down to Link, who's currently underneath.
This round, if they want to keep their fight forward, and let's see how things start out. It's going to be the Lear that opens up. Kriya will find a great pick. That's Hip as well, but there's too much to look forward to, as Solkus will find that refrag, but now it's just down to 2 members for the side of FISH123. Link moving ever so closely towards the fruit market, but knows that there's one playing close left, and that's the shots that won't connect. This Rhyme that takes him out. Fearoth will close the door, and the defense will stop that push in, or a potential push in from the catwalk. The flash is unfortunately huge, as they will find 2 opening up onto the side, but now it's just down to Hip. Does not have the Empress, so it's going to be very difficult, but they don't even read it as he just mows them down as they push forward, looking for that third one. Can't find it, but it's just down to one final player here. That spike going down. Rhyme has a tall task ahead of them to take out 3, but it does not look like it's going to be likely. FISH123 going to be moving forward, maybe, as Rhyme will find one. Still 2. They're playing towards the wine cellar. Have themselves a crossfire set up, and unfortunately for Rhyme, very difficult to know what to do in this scenario. Where do I go? How do I clear things out? Gets shots delivered from the wine cellar, so now has to either stick to defuse or battle things out. They swing together, and
they're going to be looking for that success. Link is playing very close. There's one backing him up as well. They're right around the corner, starting to peek their way in. There's Lucker with the operator, but Solkus there with the immediate trade. Swing wide from Scream doesn't result in the amount of success he had anticipated off the flash, and that'll send Solkus reeling into the backside of sight. So a duel going both directions results in NiP with a man advantage as they work their way onto this B site. There's still quite a few bodies built up. Kriya's going to find one, as does Hip. It looks like we're going to continue riding this ride as it's down to now 1. Cryptics as the Cypher back in spawn, and the site's been lost and the spike's been planted here for NiP.
It's on a map like Ascent that can be just so volatile to both sides. And I don't presume Cryptics will come out on top. I mean, he found a frag last time, I think, on this specific side as well. But unfortunately, he's in a 1v3. All his utilities on the opposite side.
That's going to burn a significant portion of the round that's left. So it comes down to the defense here. You can see 20 seconds now, and the spike is still making its way towards B main. As they start coming out towards the site, one's going to get caught in the tripwire. 10 seconds left for them to get that spike on and actually planted. Now it's on the 10-second point on the clock as they actually manage to get site control, but all they have to do is peek and deny the plant. Fearoth swings wide. That's the spike carrier going down. It looks like we'll get a defense. They are moving there, but there's only 25 seconds left, so yet again, a very slow take coming in from the attack, and that's a kill coming out from Link. A second one as a follow-up as well from backside site. Make it 3 for Link. He's looking for a 4th. There's one around the corner. Not going to work out, but the site, he has time for the plant. It's going to come down to a 1-on-3. Can Rhyme somehow clutch this out?
It's going to be up to him. We'll see if he starts to do it, but they'll start to funnel in one at a time. One shot's going to be good. Has to reload the clip, and they're going to start to push him forward. Both sides of the box are coming through. It's down to the 1v1. Rhyme! Oh, so close. Almost had the ace there, but Scream bringing us back 15 to 15. Lucker in a great position with the operator. Has a very difficult position to back away from, but unfortunately does not look and has to back away at a weird time. They may still look to push in here, but it's the one way that will keep them from pushing forward. Now as they come through, one shot's good, but now has to reposition. Will not be traded away. It's Rhyme That'll end up finding Scream still down to the 3v3. And it's been NiP that have brought it down to this point. Solkas, he's going to be pushing into the fish market. Rhyme has to wait for the rest of his team to come in through the defender spawn. And Solkas, he's going to likely hear this out. Tripwire from Rhyme has to be taken out there. And as that spike takes down, here comes the rest of NiP to push onto the site.
Eccles gonna get one. There's a trade coming in for NiP as Kriya picks off another. They continue to try to get back onto this site. The spike is down. Solkas is going to use that shock dart. That'll actually take out the diffuser, and a quick shot as well coming
Lucker
in.
leading with the op. As he's about to find out that there's Scream on the opposite side. One shot's good. It's a quick trade, though, and Eccles now has them all paranoid, and it will spray down, finding two. A crucial frag, a crucial series of frags for him to find, and just like that, snap your fingers.